Welcome back to another episode of my van build. Now today I'm going to be installing my shower unit on the back of the rear doors of my Volkswagen Crafter. I'm going to fix them on to the bottom half of the ladder because that's an area I don't really use, and also I want an external shower. That way I can use it to obviously shower myself, and if I want, dirty bikes, dirty kayaks, I can use it for that as well. So today I'm going to be mounting my box I've got hold of on the back of those ladders. It's quite a big box because it's quite a big shower unit. With the Joolca system you can also purchase a separate bracket, so it's easy to unhook the shower and use it elsewhere as well. So I'm going to be mounting it in the box and then mounting the box on the back of my ladders. To use those, I've managed to get hold of these stainless steel rust-proof U-shaped bolts. As you can see, they're the same or near the same dimensions as the rear steps of the ladder, so I can mount them through there. I've got 4 of them, so it's just good secure fixing and hopefully it won't get stolen either. So that's what I'll be doing today. So the first job is to actually work out where I'm going to have the holes so I can mount the unit on the back of the ladders. So I'm going to go outside, offer it up and then measure it up. Okay, so I've just been outside to have a look and I've realised that if I put it where I wanted to put it, it may obscure the light from any vehicles behind me. So I was going to go higher, but then it means I can't really use the ladder, or go lower, which might interfere with if I've got my bike rack on the back as well. So what I'm going to do is, because it's a ladder, you've got all obviously different heights to bolt these two. So I'm going to set up the top 2 and then mount it on the ladder, and then I can see exactly what the best position is for it. These actually come with brackets as well, like extra brackets for support. So I'm going to put those 2 in, mount it through the holes. Same with the other side. And that gives me 2 good securing points at the moment, and I'm probably going to put an extra 2 down the bottom as well. I just want to mount it on the ladder just to see exactly where the place is going. So I was going to put it on the bottom, but now I'm going to put it at the top. So I may put another box at the bottom. So I'm just going to bolt it on for now just to see how it looks. Okay, so I'm happy with that. It's nice and secure, and that's just the right height. It doesn't obscure the lights either. So I need to now put on the other 2 bolts. So I need to look around the back to see where the bar to the ladder is. Mark it. I'm just going to use a little Sharpie pen for that, and then take it off. It's quite awkward to get to. You have to have quite small hands to get around there, and just mark each side of the ladder rung, because that's going to be my securing point. So back in my garage, I can see where I've marked them, and that's where I'm going to drill the holes for these extra 2 brackets, just to make it a little bit more secure. So here's a better view of those U-bolts I'm using. They're stainless steel. They come with all the necessary nuts and washers. I'm going to swap the nuts over for some nylon ones, just to make it a lot more secure. So after drilling the holes and feeding them through, just the same as the other method I've used, you can see 4 fixings is a lot better than 2. So once I was happy, I got all those U-bolts all in the right places. I'm going to fix them using the locking nuts instead of just ordinary nuts. You could use thread lock, but I prefer to use the nylon nuts because it just makes it a lot more secure. It stops it rattling and falling off or becoming loose. Okay, so once all the nuts are secure, then obviously the thread is a lot longer and it's poking on the inside of the box, so I just zip them off with an angle grinder. I cut each individual, be careful because the ends are hot, and then I just buff over the ends to make it a lot more smoother to go with the nuts. Use a hoover to get off all the island filings because being outside and moisture gets hold of them, they're just going to turn to rust, so I'll give it a good hoover and a good wipe. So you can see they're nice and flush now, no burrs on them, and it looks a much better finish. So ready for the Joolca plate to hang my actual heater unit on. So there's 6 holes pre-drilled in the actual bracket, so it makes it easy for me just to put a pencil through or pen and then mark them, or just use a drill bit. Once you're happy with the placement, drill the light 6 holes, and then you can start feeding the bolts through. I started off with a smaller drill bit and then went through them all again with a larger drill bit. It's the same size as the bolts. I think the bolts I'm using are M8s. So here I'm using M8 bolts, and these are stainless steel as well, and I'm using stainless steel penny washers. Once these are in, I flip the box back over again, and I just want to test fit the actual bracket just to make sure I've got all the bolts sticking through at the right actual positions. It should be, because I used the actual bracket for the template of the holes, but I just wanted to make sure. So here I'm just using nuts on the backs here, no washers. These are just purely to help keep the actual bolts in place when I install the bracket. And it also gives me about an 8mm gap behind the bracket just to aid heat. Once the actual boiler unit is working, it does produce a lot of heat, so I just wanted a gap behind just for a bit of extra airflow. Now the bracket's in place, I'm using the locking nuts again to secure the bracket to the box itself. So now I'm happy with the position of the bracket and it's all secure. I'm going to get the heat unit out just to make sure it all fits on the bracket, and there's plenty of gap either side, underneath and on top. You need some gap underneath because you've got all the fittings to connect to. Most of the heat comes from the top of the unit, so I might have to install some kind of metal heat shield to protect all the heat outwards when I'm actually using the shower system. So now that's all done, let's get it on the van and just see what it looks like.